C. Idris Elba put himself in the running for Worst Father of the Year in Beast, directed by the man that brought us Two Guns and Adrift, written by Ryan Engel, who did Nonstop and Rampage, also written by Jamie Premack Sullivan, who did Breaking In, and it stars Idris Elba, who is a terrific actor. He's been in a lot of goddamn movies, and he plays a father, Dr. Nate Samuels, who is trying to rebuild the relationship with his daughters after the death of their mother, and he decides, I'm going to take you to visit where your mother grew up. And, well, it's somewhere in Africa, basically just somewhere in the savannah in Africa, and they meet a longtime friend, Martin, played by the guy that was from District 9, the main guy from District 9, Shartlo Copley. Yeah, Shart is actually an appropriate word that I could use here for this movie, but nevertheless, let's talk about it. Basically, he has a tense relationship with his two daughters. One's a little bit older, one's a little bit younger. That's usually how it works unless they're conjoined twins, and then you have to separate them, and the surgery is really bad. But don't worry, he's a doctor. He can do it. But anyway, nevertheless, they share some memories. They share some good times with Martin, and he's an anti-poacher. He basically goes and poaches the poachers. And then what ends up happening is they go out into the savannah to witness the wildlife, but then a rogue lion interrupts their plans, and they have to basically survive because it's the law of the jungle. You are in his territory, and bitch, he is coming for you because he's the only main attraction in town. Aha! So yeah, this basically could be described as Jaws with a lion because it's minimalist. There's very little backstory. I mean, there's a few details. We get a couple flashbacks. We get a couple ideas of why there's a tense relationship between father and the two daughters, especially the older daughter. But mostly, it's about Idris Elba putting a lion in danger and punching out his family. I think you strike that, reverse it. Basically, it's him putting his family in danger and his family making constant stupid decisions because in a survival monster movie, you have to basically keep doing that. You can do this formula right, and I actually was kind of intrigued about how they were going to do this because Idris Elba is a terrific actor. He's been in a lot of great movies, a lot of movies that I really fucking enjoyed. Hell, he was in Pacific Rim, which was by no means a great goddamn movie, but was very entertaining. Tonight, we cancel the apocalypse! That was good shit. God, Del Toro deserved to direct the sequel, but nevertheless, Beast, basically, yeah, there's a lion, it's stalking them, and it's a very vicious lion for a reason that I will talk about in spoilers, basically, but there aren't a lot of people in this movie. It's a very small cast. There are a few characters that are introduced at one point for a little bit of a plot point. Again, it will be talked about in spoilers. But mostly, it's Idris Elba, Shartlo Copley. Again, District 9, by the way, I'm just going to say right now, is a movie that I absolutely fucking despise. And in fact, they're doing a sequel to it. Fucking goddamn hell. But nevertheless, Beast basically is very minimalist. That's all it is. It's just a lion stalking people. And Idris Elba has to save his children. Won't somebody please think of the children? Has to use the survival instincts and the fact that he's a doctor. Don't worry, I'm a doctor, and I play one on screen, and find a way to get his family back to safety. And that's pretty much it. There's really not a whole lot to it. The night, I don't know. This is one thing that bugged me. This is before I get into spoilers. I'm going to say right now the movie wasn't very good. I didn't expect it necessarily to be great, and I had low expectations anyway, and those weren't met. Mainly because the characters were fucking irritating. I'm sorry, those kids were fucking goddamn irritating. And maybe that was the whole point, so you could get used to, them being irritating. Oh, I can't wait to see. Oh, wait, no, the father really loves them, and maybe they aren't that bad. Maybe they have a reason to feel the way they feel, and they can come together right now and survive the heat. I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure what I'm doing with these song references, but it just ends up where everybody's really stupid. It's like, oh, I'm going to go do this. Well, no, don't do that, but I have to do this. And then let me go do this, and then let me put myself in danger. Let me do this. Just, God damn it. Special effects weren't that good either. Here's a question I had before I get into spoilers. So, Prey, which was by no means a great movie in my personal opinion, but I enjoyed it, and I thought it was minimalist, but it also had some good narrative to it, but it was also very focused and singular, and it just went ahead with a good lead character and focused on a good story. A minimalist story, but a good story nonetheless. That got sent to streaming. Now, I understand some of the other Predator sequels and prequels and whatever hadn't done all that well in the last few years. Alien vs. Predator, Alien vs. Predator Requiem, and a couple of the others. But that got released to streaming, and it's been really popular. This, that barely looks like it's funded be on what maybe Blumhouse would do. Blumhouse had nothing to do with this, shockingly, because otherwise they probably would have made the goddamn lion mess with Slender Man, and that would have been hilarious. What ends up basically happening is you question how this got a theatrical release beyond Idris Elba's inclusion. It's like if The Ghost in the Darkness was directed by a sea cucumber. It's not very good. And I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the director's last name because I will absolutely fucking ruin, I'll fucking ruin his first and last name. But Two Guns wasn't bad, and he's a competent enough director, but there's so little material. You don't care about any of the characters. Nothing about this is any fucking good. It ends up being an exercise in, okay, let me just see if anything gets better. No, this is just getting worse. No, these characters are just doing shit that's dumber and dumber and dumber. And sure, okay, there's the family dynamic about it. But it just ends up being a bunch of people making stupid decisions, and it doesn't have a good pace to it. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. It's like, sure, you don't waste too much time before you get to the lion. And yeah, the lion a couple times looks intimidating, other times just looks like CGI from the early 2000s. It's not as egregious as Morbius as far as the CGI, but I don't know. It just didn't feel like a living, breathing world. It just felt like a few set pieces, and that was really it. There really wasn't much to Beast. So that's all I'm going to say. I am going to get into spoilers here, but it is in theory. If you want to check it out, maybe you felt different than I did. But this wasn't very good. In fact, not very good is being kind. I think I hated this movie because I just kept laughing at some points. I was looking at my phone wondering, is this over yet? By the way, there was nobody around me. I would not look at my phone if there were people around me. I'm not a dick like that. But yeah, Idris Elba protects his family from a lion. The movie. And everybody makes every dumb decision to advance the meager plot as it is the movie. So yeah, now we're going to get into spoilers, but again, it's in theaters. So 3, 2, 1. These spoilers really will not take very long. Spoilers. Okay, so in the beginning, poachers kill a bunch of lions, except one. And he's the lone remaining lion. And then the next day, Idris Elba and his children arrive, and their friend Martin, Mr. Shartlow. I'm sorry, that name is hilarious. And also, I think the script was just a bunch of sharts, if you know what I mean. But goddamn, like, they know each other for a while. The mother had passed away from cancer, and before that, before Idris Elba, Nate Samuels knew she was sick, they had separated. And the kids are upset because of that and a few other things and everything. And he's been distant. He's been focused on his work and all that stuff. And then they have to come together. Martin gets severely injured because he goes out and hunts the goddamn lion because we need somebody to put themselves in danger because we don't have a lot of fucking people. The lion keeps stalking around. But before that, we see how Martin gets along with other lions, including two that he helped, kind of raise as cubs. And that factors in a little bit later, where there's another anti-poacher guy who, is a reserve worker, and he watches them, and he notices that one of the lionesses is hurt, and that factors into the other, that factors either into poachers or possibly, I don't know, space aliens coming down. But nevertheless, the lion keeps attacking. One of the kids gets injured. Martin ends up sacrificing himself so the kids can get away. They get to this one little church school area thing, where the lion ends up stalking them again. And then Idris Elba somehow manages to get from that school, after getting them away from the kids, back to this little reserve area, where the lions that remembered him earlier and said, oh, Martin had to sacrifice himself because the car tipped over and exploded and landed on the lion, and somehow that didn't fucking kill it. And then the two lions kill him. The two lions kill the other lion. It looked like a zombie lion by that point. And then Idris Elba's fine, and everybody's good. They're good. They're fine. Everybody's fine. Hooray, happy goddamn family story. God. The lion attacks weren't very good. It was very minimalist. It was like a Jaws prequel, or Jaws sequel, rather. God, if they do a Jaws prequel. It was like a Jaws sequel, if it was also directed by a sea cucumber. This wasn't very good. This was just, honestly, dog shit. I'm going to give it an F. I'm sorry, I did not have fun at this movie at all. This could have been released on streaming, and nobody would have missed it a goddamn bit. There you go, F. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ricklin. I'll see you soon.